of Homeland Security to report monthly on terrorist watch list encounters. We're joined now by a member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee and physician, Kansas Senator Roger Marshall. Roger, thanks for joining us this morning. Senator, I just want to ask you this. You've introduced this bill. Please tell us a little more about this. Why is it so important? I mean, we know why it's important, but please tell our viewers why it's so important to routinely monitor these encounters with individuals on the terror watch list.
Well, look, we saw on October the 7th what happened in Israel. When they were watching their border, they thought they had it under control, but an army of terrorists invaded and brutally slaughtered some 1,400 people. And we start digging into this. Well, how's our own border? Well, all your listeners know that 8 million people have crossed this border illegally since Joe Biden became president, but just not any people. Over the past year, 170 people on the known terrorist watch list have been caught. If we know our based upon past predictions, there's been a third more gotaways. But it goes even deeper than that. Some 60,000 people of interest, aliens of interest, have been apprehended at our border as well. Those are people from Iran, from Afghanistan, from Turkey. And then another additional 20,000 Chinese nationalists. So we don't know where those people went to. Did they catch and release them? Are they setting up and ready to do a cyber attack, a bioterrorism attack on America? Are they working at our universities, our research centers? Are they working for our Department of Defense? Where are those people? We want to know. We've already seen the Secretary Mayorkas fail on his job.
He should have been let go a long time ago, if not impeached. You look at what happened in Maine, right? This is a single individual 2 days ago in that mass shooting. You look at what Hamas was able to do in Israel and beat one of the sophisticated intelligence programs we've got on the planet, and you think about all of these terrorists that we have no idea where they are and what they could be planning. Literally, if you're a parent, if
you're worried,
it keeps me up.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time. Senator, look, if you're a terrorist, it's not really something that people are on the fence about. We've been saying terror watch list for 3 years, ever since Biden took over. I think it's a totally ridiculous term. Why don't we just call them what they are? Terrorists, and quit it with the semantics. You're either a terrorist or you're not. What are we watching for?
Yeah. Well, this is, framing the bigger conversation here is that Ronald Reagan, Dwight Eisenhower gave us peace through strength. Joe Biden gives us war through weakness. All along, I've said our southern border is our #1 most immediate national security threat, that we're losing 300 Americans every day to fentanyl poisoning. Meanwhile, we're letting thousands of aliens, persons of aliens of interest, we're letting people on this terrorist watch list into our country. But you're right. I think the #1 defining issue of this next presidential election, and if the Republicans take the majority back, will be this issue of security. That in my own hometown where I grew up, my parents don't feel safe. My goodness, every day I hear about new crimes that have committed on the Capitol, where we have Capitol Police protecting us. So I'm very concerned as well. I think this is the #1 issue. America needs to elect somebody in the White House that's going to define security the way it was once upon a time when my dad was the chief of police in my hometown.
Yeah, we've been talking all week about how people don't feel safe in their communities, on their college campuses, in their own homes. I want to quickly move over to foreign aid, where Joe Biden has asked for a $105 billion package, including $60 billion to Ukraine, $14 billion for Israel. And this is what you tweeted, quote, "Leveraging aid to Israel for billions in more Ukraine funding is wrong." Tell us what you meant by that.
Well, listen, Israel needs the help yesterday. Putting anything to do with Ukraine on this funding together is going to slow it down. It'll take weeks, if not months, to be debated in the Senate. It's dead on arrival in the House. But if you put Israel funding by itself, I think you're going to get 98, 99 senators to vote for it tomorrow. And I think the House will do the same thing as well. Look, Israel and Ukraine are so different to me in my mind. Since I was a young child, my mom, my Sunday school teachers taught me to support Israel. The United States has to stand by Israel unequivocally right now, that this is a war between the people of Israel and this Hamas army of terror, but it's a war really for the future of humankind. So they need help yesterday. They're about to have 3 fronts open here in the next 10 to 14 days. Additionally, they're going to have missiles lobbed at them from Syria, from Iraq, from Yemen as well. So they need the weapons yesterday. Ukraine, on the other hand, is a 7, 9, 10-year war. It's filled with corruption, Already 200,000 people have died in the Ukraine war.
More than
It's
that.
a stalemate.
Yeah.
We need to be focused on a peace plan in Ukraine. Meanwhile, we need to unequivocally stand with the people of Israel. They need about $14 billion worth of military aid. Let's give it to them today.
Yeah, and you know, our hearts break for the people of Ukraine, and they have every day over the last 21 months. But I'll just say, to your point, and that's such a great point, Senator, if you look at the Russian invasion of Afghanistan in the 1980s, maybe people have seen the movie Charlie Wilson's War. That might jog your memory. They were there for more than a decade. And Russia is doing the exact same thing in Ukraine. They're not going to pull out. We can give Ukraine $1 trillion. Russia is not pulling out anytime soon. The war is at a total stalemate right now. And I think that's why we almost had a government shutdown last month, is because these massive jumbo bills that the Biden administration are trying to shove down our throats. I don't know why, Senator, and I hope our new speaker will get behind this. I don't know why we just don't have individual bills, to your point, for Israel, for Ukraine, for Taiwan, and for our own southern border.
You got it. And Speaker Johnson is in favor of this plan of splitting the particular funding. You know, and maybe one last point about Ukraine. Though their political class wants the war, the people on the streets are tired of dying. They're struggling to send soldiers, young men and women, to the front to die. Enough of the killing there. Let's work towards a peace agreement. Let's stand beside Israel.
Great point. Senator, great to see you again. Thanks for being with us. Have a great weekend.